Before we start this video, we wanted to give thanks to our veterans.
We are lucky that we had people like you serving overseas and in the States protecting us every single day. We value you.
Hey guys, it's me, Jocelyn, and today I'm here with
Randy Combs.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name's Randy Combs. I live in Deerfield. I've lived in Deerfield all my life, except when I was in the military. I born in Garden City, went to school, graduated from Deerfield. Um, After I got out of the military, I worked for the Kearney County Sheriff's Department for 27 years and retired. Currently, I am a special agent with the Kansas Attorney General's office, and I'm the statewide DARE coordinator.
What was the best and worst military food you were served, and why?
Well, if you talk to other veterans, they will tell you that the Air Force is taken care of a little better than the other branches. I really can't say that I had any bad food when I was in the military. I mean, we did eat MREs occasionally, but it wasn't that bad.
How did you entertain yourself?
I went to a lot of cool places. I was able to do a lot of outdoor stuff, camping, fishing, hunting, um, things like that.
Where did you serve?
I went to basic training in San Antonio, Texas. My first duty station was McConnell Air Force Base in Wichita, Kansas. And then I went to what we called a remote station, which was a little island in the Aleutians in Alaska. And then from there, I spent 3 years at Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska. And then my last duty station was Grand Forks Air Force Base, North Dakota.
Do you remember your instructors?
Very much. Tech Sergeant Bender was my training instructor. Most people don't forget their drill instructor. So
Do you remember
arriving at like basic training or
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'd flown in smaller airplanes. That was the first time that I'd flown in a big commercial aircraft, and I flew from Denver to San Antonio, and we flew through a thunderstorm, and that was interesting. And so we got there in the middle of the night, and they made us do all sorts of stuff. We stood in a line, and they made us pick up our luggage, put it down, pick it up, put it down, and it was just a lot of head games. But we didn't get to bed until like maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, and then the drill instructor woke us up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, yes, I remember that quite well.
Were you awarded any medals?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in the military. Good conduct. I guess I could have looked it up if you'd asked me, but I had a few medals. Nothing like a Silver Star or anything like that. But yeah, I had some medals.
What was your job or assignment?
I was an Air Force security policeman, basically a cop in the Air Force.
How does that work?
Well, in my day, the security police career field was split up into security and law enforcement. I did mostly security. When I was at McConnell Air Force Base, I guarded a lot of different, what the Air Force called resources. In those days, there were ICBM missiles in the ground around Wichita, Titan II intercontinental ballistic missiles that had nuclear warheads on them. We had a weapons storage area that I guarded. McConnell Air Force Base got the B-1 bomber while I was there. I helped guard the B-1 bombers. I also worked in an office job called passenger registration. I issued ID cards and registered vehicles on the base. And that was my first duty station.
You had multiple?
Oh, yeah. At Shemia, there was it's called a phased array radar. Sorry about that. And the phased array radar on Shemia could track an object the size of a basketball 200 miles in space. And basically, it was there to detect if nuclear missiles had been launched from Russia, so we would have early detection. There was also a what they called a Cobra Ball aircraft, and it was an intelligence gathering aircraft. And we would go watch Russia do their nuclear missile testing from that aircraft. And they would fly in international airspace, but it had a telescope on it and listening devices. And they always said it wasn't a spy plane, it was an intelligence gathering aircraft. When I went to Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska, I worked passenger registration, also guarded A-10s and a number of aircraft, B-52 bombers when they were there. And at Grand Forks Air Force Base, I guarded Minuteman II intercontinental ballistic missiles, missiles that had nuclear warheads on them in the ground. And then I got out.
Do you remember why you joined?
I kind of had it in my head that I was always going to go into the military, and that's what I did.
What do you do now?
Currently, I retired from the Sheriff's Department. I worked there for 27 years, and now I currently am a special agent for the Kansas Attorney General's office, and I'm the state DARE coordinator.
What are some things you miss about being in the service, or what are some things you're glad that you left behind?
When you're in the military, the people that you work with and you're stationed with, especially on that small island I was stationed at, you really become like family to those people. You form strong bonds, and the people that I met on that island, I still consider really close friends. Kind of connected with them on Facebook and things like that, but I miss strong bonds, strong relationships, friendship, that kind of thing. Things I miss, a lot of rules and regulations you got to follow. And in the civilian world, I can tell you that there are rules and regulations in being a civilian law enforcement officer, but they're not as stringent as being in the military.
Do you attend any reunions?
I have not attended any reunions. I haven't.
How did your service and experiences affect your life?
It totally and completely made me a better person. I learned structure. To this day, I still fold clothes the way they taught me in basic training, and that was 38 years ago. I still have the attitude that if you're early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're actually late. So most of the time I remember where I'm supposed to be, and I get there early. You tend to do things to the very, very best of your ability, and I was taught that in the military.
Fernando wanted to know if you were nervous.
Nervous for this, or nervous to be in the military?
To be in the military?
Yeah, actually, when you grow up in a small town and you go to a small school, I mean, I attended classes 39 years ago in this very classroom. And so you get used to a small town and less people. Then you go to a place you've never been, and you're around people you've never seen before, and you've got some guy that's screaming at you and yelling at you and trying to get you to do your very best. Yeah, it's scary. But if I could do it all over again, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would suggest anybody that wants to learn a trade, join the military. I have very strong feelings about being patriotic for my country and serving in the military. I'm very proud of my military service. But I will also say that I was very blessed in my military service. I did not fire a shot in anger. I did not go to a war zone. I did not have to do a lot of things that happened shortly after I got out of the military. For instance, my son Derek, he was deployed to the Middle East 5 times, and he saw action, and he was shot at. And so I would say, although I'm very proud of my military service, and I'm glad I did it, there are a lot of veterans out there that actually went to a war zone that I feel like deserve a bigger thank you than I'll ever get. And I really appreciate those veterans.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Veterans Day, so okay, at least we have a second one. Bro, it's a lab, a special memorial. This is a memorial. This is a parade. This is a memorial. This is what? I was like,
It's Mount Hay first grade.
Brownie. What if we're done? If you're done, let me. Let me get Hey, put that stuff away. Let me see what you guys need to do.
I said
Please make sure you clean up your trash too.
my blue stick just broke.
Bottom end. Okay, you're gonna get on Twig Science. If you're done, get on Twig Science on the lead. Then you need to work on unit 3. Okay, so
Wait, it's already out of
the
blue.
parade.
Here, you can borrow my blue. It's fine, I have more blue. Miss? No.
Alright, he's gonna introduce himself and then we can ask him some questions.
Alright guys, my name's Specialist Castro. I'm in the U.S. Army, and yeah, I'm just here to talk to you guys about, answer your questions, or you guys need to know.
Alright.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
Does anyone know how old you have to be to go to the...
I know 24. 23 or 24.
But he's 20.
You have to be like 19. 18. Oh, you have to pass 18
So
to go to the army.
you can be 18 to go on your own, but if you're 17 years old, you just have to get your parents' permission to go, like to sign something.
Right, remember to raise your hand for a question.
Have you ever been injured?
No, I have not been injured in my time of service.
How strong you are?
A strong one? Like really strong. Like crazy strong.
You gotta be strong to carry a lot of gear.
Yeah, like this.
Like the helmet.
Yeah, and the
That's
helmet too.
heavy.
This, it's not very heavy because right now it doesn't have the bulletproof plates in, so it's pretty light. And then we'll have to, if you guys want to try it out afterwards, you can do that.
The helmet bulletproof too.
Yes.
Why don't you tell them about your time at boot camp?
Oh, okay. So when I went to boot camp in January, I think it was 2 years ago, it's 3 months long, and you do a lot of really cool stuff. Like you get to shoot at targets, you get to stay outside and kind of like camp, but not really camp. You don't really get to set like a campfire or anything. It's pretty cold, so yeah, it's really cold. You eat out of MRE. So what do you guys think I eat? What do you think I eat?
Meat.
Yeah, you gotta eat a lot of protein to stay strong.
Peanut butter crackers.
Yeah, so we eat something. I would have brought one, but I just didn't have any. But it's an MRE. It's like a bag that can survive a lot of time, and you can eat it out in the field. So it'll have like a main course, which will be like spaghetti and meatballs. And it's crazy because you just have to put water in it to heat it up. So you'll eat that, and then it'll come with the candy. It'll come with like M&Ms or Skittles, but they're expired. So, but I mean, we still eat them. It doesn't do anything to you. And then it'll come with like a piece of bread, and then peanut butter, and then a giant cracker.
Crackers.
And then it comes with gum, and then 2 minutes.
When did you go in?
I signed up to go in May of 2020.
How
That
old
was
were
2
you?
years ago, so you guys were in kindergarten.
What? So he was 18.
Yeah. So I was 17, and I had to get my parents' permission.
Whoa. Do you know who my grandpa is? He worked in the army.
What's his name?
I don't know, but he died in the army.
There's thousands.
Yeah, there's a lot of us.
You might
There's
not
like.
know.
There was like a trillion.
What did you have to do to your hair when you went to boot camp?
So when I went to boot camp, they shave your head. Not the girls though. Girls are okay. Well, so they do it because.
Class?
So,
He's
So-
nice fun.
So you guys know how there's like something called mice, right? I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with that. So they do it for like cleanliness reasons, and also so we all look the same, and then also it's kind of like to just make you look funny.
Because some of you guys got long hair. You guys don't brush in the mornings.
And then you also have to shave every morning. Every morning when you get up, you have to shave.
Why?
Clean shave. Because a lot of the equipment we use, like a gas mask, it won't go on your face correctly. It won't really seal if you have like facial hair. It won't seal very well, so you'll get some gas in your face.
You know my dad?
I don't think I know your dad.
You said the name is John.
John? I know a lot of Johns.
What are you scared of?
What am I scared of?
Probably nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I'm not really scared.
The fireballs?
Fireballs, that'd be crazy.
What if that is a big
Remember, raise your hands. A lot of you have questions. You need to raise your hand. Colby, you had your hand raised next. What's your question?
Is it scary to be in the army?
Sometimes it is. In my experience, I was really scared to like go to boot camp and then go train. But once you're there for a while, like it gets pretty fun. Like I got to shoot a machine gun out of a tank. Yeah, and I got to shoot an actual tank too. So a tank is like, so you, yeah, not like the one in Lincoln.
Yeah,
So-
it's a big thing.
Yeah, so the way you load it is you know how it has that jack cannon. Yeah.
You put like little logs.
So the logs are like they weigh like 100 pounds.
What? No way! You have to carry them?
Yeah, so that's
Way
why you
more
gotta
than
be
you
you
guys,
gotta be
right?
strong, right? So you gotta carry them, you gotta load them up, and then once it's ready to go, you grab a string, you pull it, and it shoots. And the whole tank like shakes. Like you have to have really good balance. You gotta stand like this, and you pull it, and it shoots. I've seen people like fall, and I've seen people get hit by the because the thing pulls back all the way. I've seen people get hit by it, but they don't get hurt. It just kind of bruises them.
They don't
I want
get
to
to
grow
go to
up to be in the army.
You wanna go to be in the army?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's good.
We'll spend a night in the audio.
You'll spend lots of nights there.
Yeah. So
Any workout.
the really cool thing about the army is you get to know how to survive out in the wilderness.
What?
Yeah, so I went to a training in July it was 2 weeks long, and for those 2 weeks we were out in the field. So when I say the field, I'm not saying like a cornfield out here. Like it's just when you're outside somewhere, you're really far away from like your base. Yeah, not really. You can be anywhere, desert, forest, anywhere, any kind of terrain.
Jungles.
Yeah, jungle, anywhere.
Antarctica forest.
Yes, Antarctica, anywhere. So what you do?
do?
Yeah, you gotta fight. You gotta be ready to fight anytime. So the field is so you're anywhere outside and you're kind of like pretending you're like at war. It's kind of like a war game. So you're doing your job, but like kind of like a huge
It's like a
training.
game.
Like a practice.
Yeah, like a
Or
practice.
sports practice.
And you gotta take it like really seriously because practice makes improvement. So you have to know that. So when it actually comes time to do your job and it's all real, like you gotta be good. You gotta be able to perform under pressure.
What happens if you disobey your...
So if you disobey a direct order, you could lose rank. So you could go down, get demoted, or you could just lose pay too. Like they don't pay you.
Do you get yelled at?
Yes, you get yelled at a lot. If you say, what's your name? Yeah. So say Eric shows up one day. He has a full beard. Shows up, reports to duty, and salutes and everything. Yeah, he's gonna get yelled at for not being shaved because he got shaved.